Hello YouTube, welcome back over to GamingHouse, and today is going to be the review of Rainbow Six Siege, a game that I was both skeptical about getting until playing the open beta, and then had a bit of fun playing with friends in the beta, so I decided to actually get the game. Now the reason I was skeptical about this game is because it is multiplayer focused only, something that the other Rainbow Six games weren't really focused on. Now as always with review videos, down in the description below there is footnotes for anything that I may not mention in the video, so go ahead and read through that. There's also Twitter down there to follow for any updates on the channel, you know, when I update the Twitter. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and dive into this. Now starting off, of course, with our focus, it's multiplayer. Now the immediate problem with multiplayer is that your servers have issues. Week 1. This was apparent in your fucking beta. That was, you know, you had 5 days to fix things, which isn't enough time, in my opinion, to fix anything. We've had, anytime you go into Rainbow Six Siege, you'll get disconnected from servers just to be reconnected 5 seconds later. If they do connect you, then they'll kick you off of it 5 seconds later. We've had multiple times where 1 or 2 party members that we play with will get a server connection error, and then they'll get booted, and we either gotta back all out or finish out the match if it's versus to pick them up afterwards. And then we have times where people can't connect to each other, and a whole bunch of internet connection issues on your multiplayer focused game is not a good thing, especially since it's 2015. Now when jumping into the multiplayer, you have 2 choices of either the casual playlist or the ranked playlist. The main difference between the two is ranked earns a bit more renown, and also when playing certain modes such as, say, hostage rescue, the defenders would get the option in ranked to choose where they want to place the hostage, as opposed to casual, which will just plop you right in, no choices made, you gotta work with what you have. So ranked allows you to have more planning involved on the defender side. And when playing multiplayer, and also Terrorist Hunt, this works for that as well, all the game modes and maps are all mashed together in one playlist, which works. And I understand in the sense that you don't have to worry about splitting community at all. Everyone's just going to be playing always in the same type of servers, and you can't search for specifically Bond Disarm or specifically Hostage Extract, which may irritate some people, and, you know, be somewhat irritating in general. But it only becomes irritating when RNG is involved. There is no option or voting for maps or selection unless you're in custom game, which in that you don't earn XP or renown, so that is kind of useless unless you want to just learn the layout of the map. But the fact that RNG selects your maps and modes, you can end up playing the same map and or mode 5 times in a row, which has happened to us. Literally has happened to us. That's very frustrating and annoying to keep playing the same mode and or map over and over. Now, in terms of balancing for the versus, so far I've experienced no operator and or weapon that's overly unbalanced. I'll do like a separate video for operators at some point, but operators, there are a few that seem very useful on their own if you, say, weren't communicating with teammates or just playing by yourself, and some that won't really have the potential fully maxed out unless you were playing and communicating with teammates. The only other possible imbalance is that it seems defenders, without taking into skill, communication, and all those other factors, it's by their base default seems defenders have a slight advantage over attackers, simply because of better positioning depending on where they are. But other than that, the game seems somewhat balanced for right now. It is only like a week of being played, so it's hard to tell at this point. Now let's go ahead and get into situations, which... situations. Situations serves as a quasi campaign / tutorial. You play as an operator in each one of them by yourself, and they teach you the basics of the operator while doing these missions, which are annoying later on when playing by yourself. They're all doable, but they're all equally could be irritating because you're playing by yourself doing these objective modes that are meant to be played with teammates, such as like defending a bomb area by yourself against enemies coming at you. And at the end of situations, you are forced into playing with other people, but you can't bring your squad with you. So you're forced to just play with randoms. Which is fine dandy, except I don't know why you can't bring a squad with you. And then they have a cutscene at the end of it. And this cutscene is just a slap in the face because it's just teasing that they'll have a campaign in the next Rainbow instead of having a full-blown co-op campaign in this one. And it's just a slap in the face. And then there's the fact that their intro cutscene to this like implies that Rainbow was canceled at some point or shut down or something, so they just shit on the whole like Rainbow lore, and it makes no sense to anyone that's played all the other Rainbows as to why Rainbow Six was shut down and now has to be reopened. So that's enough about situations, unless I go off into another rant about what the fuck they did with situations. So let's now get into the most played mode with my friends and I, which was Terrorist Hunt. Terrorist Hunt, I like what they done, but then I don't like what they done. Let's get into what you can play in Terrorist Hunt. Terrorist Hunt, you can play a bomb disarm, you disarm 2 bombs, hostage extract, classic Terrorist Hunt, which is kill a bunch of enemies, and defend a hostage. 3 of those 4 modes you play as attacker operators, and 1 you play as defender operators, which works fine and dandy, except for bomb disarm. Bomb disarm, I'd say, would work better if you had the option of both attackers and defenders. Both in the sense that, gameplay-wise, blowing a bunch of holes in the area to get 2 bombs, and then defending said area you just blew the hell out of, doesn't quite work well. It's again, it's one of these doable things, but very irritating things. And it actually would have worked also better in the sense of working with teammates and the experience of trying to balance out bringing attackers and defenders with you. And besides, the terrorists can also, reinforce and blow up walls all in their same time, so a little unfair there. Now, the other problems with Terrorist Hunt, besides of also the RNG matchmaking and the fact that there is no custom game mode, is the AI. The AI has this auto-aim system that makes me want to punch baby kittens. You so much as fart near a wall, they'll start spraying through the wall. On kill cams you watch, their recoil control is ridiculous, and apparently they control bullets because their aim will be way off, and apparently the bullet that killed you is like nowhere near you. And they're also able to shoot through certain things we can't shoot through, such as posts and corners. We can't shoot through those, they can shoot through those. And also in combination with low enemy counts in both the Terrorist Hunt Classic and the defense mode. Both, even when you take up the difficulties, those numbers are laughably low, considering when you play the other modes, you have the potential to run into more enemies. In particular, Bomb Disarm, we had 2 teammates that killed over 30 enemies. The max number, I believe, for Terrorist Hunt Classic is 30. And we had 2 people kill over 30 in one game in Bomb Disarm. There is no excuse as to why these bot numbers are so low in other modes. In particular, it's really offending, well, it's offending in both modes, but really for defense, because it becomes laughably boring when you're playing with a competent team and you got possibly 2 to 3 people that aren't seeing anything, watching their sectors and getting no action because of the low enemy counts. I've also looked at certain interviews for like the reasons behind it, and they're not very good reasons. They're laughable reasons. There is no legitimate excuse for the low enemy counts in Terrorist Hunt. But I think that'll do it for Terrorist Hunt discussion. Let's go into general features and gameplay of Rainbow Six Siege. And I'd say this is where it's got definite, like, redeemable qualities to anything negative that I've said so far. And that's, it's got great replayability with both the Versus and Terrorist Hunt due to the fact of objectives being randomized, as well as a very destructible environment. You could blow up a lot of the walls in this game, make holes in the wall in this game to like shoot through all this fun stuff that is entertaining first off, and never gets boring, but also is very dynamic and makes it different. With Versus, you are very likely to not run into the same people using the same strategy every single time. Someone may post up at a different room to watch an objective. Everyone may be in the same room. They may reinforce these walls, but not these walls that you could breach through. There's a lot of replayability within the Versus and Terrorist Hunt due to all these mechanics of breaching and everything. I'd say as a tactical shooter, it accomplishes its feat at its pacing, gunplay, as well as just how it feels in general. It feels like a tactical shooter. It doesn't feel like Call of Duty or any of these other high-speed game modes where you're going to have one guy tear through everyone. If that guy's running off in front, usually that guy will actually probably die. Now, Map discussion real quick. There's about 10 maps for every mode, 11 if you're playing Terrorist Hunt, but that map, and it's god-awful. I hate that map so much. Bartlett University can eat a dick, because there's very little visibility. You can see like 2 feet in front of you, and then that's where the AI auto-aim definitely comes into play, because they see a slight shadow and they'll shoot at you. But also, with these 10 maps, they could be played in day or night, which some people may not care about, but I hate playing these maps in daytime, because whoever was your lighting guy needs to be slapped. Because looking inside and outside during a daytime map is horrendous on default brightness setting. You may need to mess with your brightness to be able to see inside and out more effectively in the daytime part of these maps, because I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but it was bad. It's like blinding looking outside, dark as hell looking inside. And it'd be nice if that was like a temporary thing, like you could eventually regain some visibility, but it's not. It's just constant. Now let's get into some of the features that were kind of missed opportunities or missing from previous Rainbow Six games. First off, let's talk about the more relevant thing, which is the spawning system in this. For spawning, you vote where the team spawns, and not where you spawn. Which I don't like, because it seems like it would be better to have, you know, people selecting different spawn points, to have different avenues of attack. So if the entire team votes for this area, or most of the team votes for an area, and you want to breach, say, a basement, but the only entrance to the basement is on the other side of the building, well, guess what? You're stuck running all the way around the building while the rest of the team goes on their avenue of attack, because they selected that area because they wanted to start there. That seems like a very missed opportunity, and misuse, I'd say. Now, missing from other games, there's no customizable characters, which makes sense in, say, the Versus aspect where we select characters and everything else. But, of course, Terrorist Hunt, our situation, well, lack of campaign anyway, there's no room for it, I suppose, so it makes sense, but you best damn well start including customizable characters in some shape, way, or form in future installments. No me gusta for this one, for no customizable characters. There's a lack of thermal and night vision, which is present in all the other games. There is also microtransactions in this game, but they're not shoved down your throat as much. You only can really use real money for getting the Rainbow Six credits, which credits can be used for is renown boosters, I believe renown, 3 weapon skins per weapon. I think they'll come into play later with DLC as well. But they're not horribly shoved down your throat. And as much as I don't want them in the game at all, because they shouldn't be in the goddamn game at all, they're not shoved down your throat, which is a good thing. You can still earn about 4 or so weapon skins per weapon, but of course the better looking ones are the ones you pay for. But meh. Now getting to the final stretch of things, I felt like they could have done more with the multiplayer. Like a lot more. Maybe a few more modes. If anyone looks up the Rainbow Six Siege E3 reveal, which the game has changed, of course, massively from when they showed it, but one of the things in particular was, at the start of the game, players inserted via helicopter at their spawn location. And I don't know why that particularly was removed, because when you're doing a multiplayer-only game and you're not doing a whole heck of a lot, any opportunity to make the experience better should be taken, and that being removed is kind of, well, taking it away, because you're just plopped in there, and it's just, like, bleh. It's bleh. So, is the game worth $60? That's very iffy. Very iffy. Have I been having fun on this game? Yes, but I've been playing with friends also. And anytime I've played solo, I swear my urge to kill teammates has never been higher. But a heads up is, I may be slightly incorrect on some details about this, but all DLC related stuff coming is supposed to be free. Maps, I don't believe skins will be free. Operators, those I'm not entirely sure. They'll be free, but you got to earn like 25,000 renown to get them. Season pass that avoids a lot of those. Those will instantly unlock those, but that's like $30, so that's iffy. But maps and everything else, and modes and everything for like the next year, all free. So that's a good thing, because that won't break up the multiplayer community. Also, because they're all mashed together anyway, which may be bad if you can't play the DLC stuff because you keep playing the same old stuff. Now, the final score of the game, as always with my scoring, it's a 1 through 10 system, 5 being the middle ground of okay, meh, etc. A 0.5 meaning that it wasn't good enough for the score that's ahead of it, but I felt it had redeeming qualities that make it above, say, the score it was given. In which this case, Rainbow Six Siege, for me, earns a 4.5 out of 10. I have fun playing this game, a lot of fun playing this game with friends, but there's flaws in it. There's stuff missing from it. There's more to be expected, and especially if it's a multiplayer only game, there's more to be expected, and it didn't deliver upon more expectations. Felt a little bit more safe, some stuff seems tacked on, etc. But there's a lot of replay value in it, surprisingly. When we were playing multiplayer, we were actually having fun, but just in comparison to like previous titles and stuff that's in other games of the same price, that's where you're gonna start to see why it's scored a little lower. And server connection issues. That's always a major one when your multiplayer games have server connection issues. But as always, you're welcome to like, comment, subscribe, all that fun YouTube stuff. Do let me know any feedback in the comments below. That's always appreciated to help out. In the description, of course, footnotes to check out. There's also Twitter to follow for updates on the channel. And as always, we're going to come back over to GamingHouse for more gameplay and commentary.